Controlling is a process which helps us in many ways. We have seen that we need to understand controlling as a process of directing people and modifying their behavior. So, when we are talking about directing people and modifying their behavior, it means people are not getting the feeling that we are finding out their faults, but we are giving them opportunity to realize the difference in their expected behavior and the actual performed behavior. The first and the most important point in controlling that, it helps in policy verification. When we talk about policies, the policies are framed at the national level. Then it is expected that these national policies are to be implemented in different states. Again, every state has their own philosophy because ruling bodies in a state, they have their own philosophies. Though we have democracy as our political ideology, but again the ruling party may have their own opinion or they may have their own principles. Now, once the policy is framed at the national level, it is framed considering all states of a particular country. But when it comes down to the state level, a state will be thinking about the different districts which comes in that state. Now, here what happens, that a particular policy which is to be implemented, there might be few changes, and therefore you find that certain policies are great success in some states while they are not that great success in another state. For example, if you consider a midday meal scheme, it is a great success in Tamil Nadu, but the same scheme is not a success in Maharashtra. Now, let us try to identify what are the reasons behind it, and in the process of controlling, it will be found out that why we have achieved a great success in midday meal in Tamil Nadu and why we do not have a great success or we could not achieve the objective of midday meal scheme in Maharashtra. So, controlling is a process which is important for policy verification. Controlling is also important to make the adjustments in the work or to make the adjustments in the delegation. And therefore, when we are talking about adjustment in delegation, it means that suppose because of some reason we are not able to finish only one task, then the other person who has completed his or her task may join us and this responsibility can be given to that person. In industrial setup, there are a lot of departments which depend on each other, and in that condition the operations also need to be set. So, sometimes when the parallel operations are to be conducted, the delegation plays very important role. So, in controlling, we parallelly try to do the task which require the same amount of resources or same types of resources. It helps us to save our time as well as energy, and of course the resources are used optimally. Now, this also help in coordination of the activities. So, in other words, controlling help to bring coordination in the activities. Since we are mentioning that the institution has to achieve one goal and there are so many activities or number of tasks performed by different people in the institution, and all these tasks which are performed by people, they are ultimately reaching out to the same ultimate goal. Now, there is a coordination required because if we just keep all the activities one after other, then we won't be able to finish our activities or the task will remain incomplete. So, some tasks are to be performed parallelly, and there we can decide the team members who can be work on two different tasks, or sometimes if the task is big, then we can have 2-3 members in one team, and then we can have the parallel 2, 3, 4 teams who are working together to complete the task. So therefore, controlling is the process which help us to coordinate the different tasks. Controlling is also important to monitor the environmental influences. We have seen that there are a lot of changes which are occurring in the environment, and they directly or indirectly influences the functions of the organization. When we are talking about the functions of organization, it cannot take place in isolation, and therefore controlling is required in order to address to these changes. A simple example, when information communication technology was introduced in the education setup, then the first reaction of people that is teacher going to replaced by technology, and people were little confused about it, rather they were little scared to accept the technology. Now once they realize that the technology is the solution and it is going to help us to make our teaching learning more effective, they have accepted it, and therefore to change their mindset was a difficult task which is performed by the process of controlling and directing. In the organization, you observe many such changes, and to bring in these changes, people they have to be make sure that they can perform the task, and maybe they have to develop some new skills. Now considering the importance of ICT in education, manager could convince teachers that they have to develop some technological skills, and once they develop these technological skills, then it is going to help for their teaching and learning. Now for that purpose, the managers of different schools or different educational organizations, they started conducting a training programs which are related to ICT. Because people they started getting the confidence of using ICT through these training workshops, they were very easily incorporate the technology with their teaching and learning. So the environmental changes are taking place, and to address to that, it is the controlling which help us. The next importance of this controlling process is that it enhances the efficiency and the effectiveness of the organization. We have seen that efficiency and effectiveness are two major indicators of the performance of the organization. When we are talking about controlling, it means we are achieving our set standards. So when we achieve our set standards, it automatically gives us the effectiveness. When we want to enhance the acceleration of our performance, then it is the efficiency which matters. It means when we are talking about to complete the task in minimum time or with a minimum uses of the resources, then we achieve the efficiency. Now the organizations which are playing important role in the development of that individual, they work for the efficiency and also for the effectiveness. Say for example, when we talk about efficiency, it means the organization is performing their all duties, or rather they have their set standards that all the students should be passed in the examination. So it means for the particular organization, if there are 5,000 students and all the students they get passed, it means the 100% result is achieved. But if the organization said that we do not want only efficiency, but we also want the effectiveness, so that organization will work that maximum number of students will achieve more than 80%. It means when maximum number of students are going to get more than 80%, it means the students are efficiently and effectively passed. On the other hand, when we are talking about the image of the organization, the image of the organization will be the organization is performing efficiently and effectively. So, efficiency talks about 100% result, but effectiveness talks about every students getting maximum marks in 10th standard or 12th standard. So, therefore, the controlling and the directing plays important role. Let us see how controlling and directing plays important role in the organization's efficiency and effectiveness. For example, when the institution gives us 100% result, it means all 100% students they are passed in 10th standard, so the institution is said to be effective. So, when the organization wants to be known as efficient as well as the effective, then that organization will work on having more and more number of students in the first class or the distinction. So, it means if there is a 100% result and all the students are passed, the organization is efficient because the result is 100%. But when we are saying that the organization is effective, we will be talking about the quality, that is more number of students they are in a distinction or they are in the first class. Now, see the role of controlling in bringing the effectiveness. If the organization wants the students, more and more number of students to be in the first class or the distinction, then the task which will they modify will be different from the organization who is only efficient. Now, coming to the steps which are involved in the process of controlling. The very first and the important step is that establishment of a controlled standard. Whenever any task is performed, we decide the standards. Deciding the standard means we take decisions about at what level this particular task is accepted. To give simple example, a teacher gives assignment to the students. She has some set standards for giving the marks. So, if there are 100 marks of the paper, then there are standards for the subjective type of or the descriptive type of answers. For the objective type of test, the answers will be same. But when it comes to the creative writing or the descriptive type of answers, then there are some set standards which are set by the teachers. If there is a essay which is very creative, then she will have to set the standards for creative writing. After setting the standards of creative writing, she will analyze or she will check the paper or check the particular essay of students. On the basis of the criteria which are decided by her as a creative writing, will help her to assign the marks to the students on that particular essay. In the organization, whenever the different tasks are performed, there are certain set standards, and these set standards they are decided either by the management or by the principal, or in some organization these set standards are decided all by cooperative way. So, after we have decided our set standards, the next step which comes in the process of controlling is measurement of performance. We know that our standards are set, we know how to do our work, and people they are doing their work. Now, people when they are doing their work, they also expect that somebody should appreciate their work, somebody should also give feedback, and they need to improve. If this is the case, then the next step, that is the measurement of performance, plays very important role. Now, there are set standard of teaching learning in an organization, and the principal wants to know that how many teachers in her school are using some innovative methods, and for that she started observing lessons. Now when she is observing lessons from the innovative point of view, then she has criteria about what is innovative teaching method. On the basis of criteria, she will rate the performance of teachers. So this is the second step where one try to measure the performance in the context of the standards which are set. The third step in the process of controlling is comparison of the expected performance and the actual performance. So when the principal is comparing what is the desired outcome and what is the actual performance, then we get the discrepancy in the expected and the actual performance. For example, when a principal is observing a lessons, considering in mind the innovative method, then she comes across that there are teachers who are making use of only technology, rather only PowerPoint presentation as an innovative method. Now the definition or the criteria which are set by principals for the innovative method are the more interactive methods in the classroom, maybe with the help of technology or minimum help of technology. Now in this condition, if the teachers are only using PowerPoint presentation, then the expected outcome or expected performance is not achieved. So there is a huge gap between the expected performance and the actual performance. Now this gap between the expected and actual gives the principal the feedback in which she might look into the process. So there can be a number of things which can be identified. First of all, the teacher's understanding of ICT is very limited. Second, they may not be very comfortable using ICT. Third may be that they are using ICT, but how to integrate it effectively, probably they have problem in that. Now while observing the lessons, the principal will note down all these points wherever she feels that the teachers are not comfortable, or maybe they are using ICT but the use of ICT is very limited, or understanding of use of ICT is very narrow according to teachers. Now after analyzing, after observing these lessons, she gathered all the data. Now the next step that she will analyze the data. In the process of analysis, she may talk to each teacher and try to understand perceptions of teacher about using technology, wherein she can speak directly to teachers, she can ask some questions, or she may interact with them, she may help her to give some sites. Now what is happening here, once she identifies the gap, then she is trying to develop some strategies, and these strategies are going to help to motivate teachers to use or to make use of ICT while teaching. Now once this deviation in the performance is observed, the principal realizes that the teachers, they know what is technology, but they are not very comfortable using technology. Now after she realizes that, she is arranging some training workshops and she is motivating them to prepare their lessons with the help of ICT. She herself is providing certain handouts, or she is providing different links to teachers and asking them to use these different links for their subject or for the preparation. Then probably she knows that where she has to go. Here she is not telling teachers that what you are doing is wrong, but rather she is giving them directions that these are the ways in which people they are using technology, or the technology can be used. So in this particular case, the fourth step what we are talking about is that after you analyze the deviation, you have planned for the corrections. So the corrective action plan has been developed by this principal, wherein she is providing lot of inputs to teachers. The next step is communication and preparation of a corrective plan. Principal here, she has identified what are the problems. She noted down all the problems. She analyzed the problems. Now, along with the teachers, if she prepares a corrective plan, then it will be extremely useful. Why it will be useful? Simply because teachers will feel that they are the part of the process, and therefore it is very important for the education manager to consider the views and opinion of people who are actually implementing the particular things. So, those who are into the process of implementation, they should be taken care. That is one thing. And secondly, while implementing, people they face problem. So, they know the ground reality. Now, once you know the ground reality, then that also help us to modify our plans. Again, very important step is the communication. When we say the communication, as earlier also we have mentioned, the way we are communicating plays extremely important role in motivating people. Remember the cases which we discussed earlier? The child was stopped by mother and the mother said not to go out by exhibiting her authority. If this case happens in the organization, people will just simply complete the task given, but they will not be involved. Now go to the second case. In that second case, the child was a part wherein the mother said, we will read a story right now and then later we will go out. So that we make lot of difference. In the process of communication, the education manager should take care of all these things. So this step is very important, that how you are communicating the message to your subordinates. If we are showing our authority, then they will complete task. It is not that they will not complete the task, but if we consider them as a part of the decision making process, then they will be involved in the work and they will not only complete the task, but they will complete the task with the commitment, and that is where communication plays a very important role. The next step is that implementation of this corrective plan. Once the corrective plan is prepared along with the teachers, this principal is going to implement it, or she wants to implement that plan. And after implementation of the plan, again there will be the observations of the performance. Now, when again the teacher's lessons are observed, the same criteria what earlier she has used, she will be making use of that. Again, the performance which has noted down later, it will be compared with the set standards. Once the gap between set standards and the actual performance is reduced, it means somewhere the principal is successful in directing or motivating the teachers to make use of ICT in innovative ways. After looking into the steps involved in a controlling, let us move to the process of directing. We have already mentioned that the controlling and directing, they go hand in hand. So, when we are talking about controlling, it's equally important to think about directing. Coming to the definition of directing, direction may be defined as a function of management which is related with instructing, guiding and inspiring human factors in the organization to achieve organizational objectives or organizational goals. We said in the process of controlling, we are modifying the behavior of individuals. But when we are modifying the behavior, one thing is very clear, we are not stopping and asking them to do something else. Here the corrective measures when we are taking, we are actually giving them directions. So it is the process in which we are giving them inspiration. We are also guiding them, or we are also instructing them the different ways of doing things. And by doing all these things, we want to achieve our goal. So go back to the examples what we were discussing, wherein the principal observed the lessons, then she identified the gaps and later she discussed with teachers. So what she has done is that she has gathered the data and later she guided on the basis of her observation, and not only her observation, she also tried to talk to teachers. Now what happens when she talks to teacher, that time the teacher also get the confidence, they feel free and they might share their difficulties or they might share their concerns. Now this is helping to accelerate the process of completion of the task, and therefore direction means actually giving the opportunity or placing a number of alternatives in front of people so that they can complete their task. So when we are talking about the completion of task, there is no single way of doing task. Person A might complete task in one way, person B might complete task in different ways. So the ways can be different, the strategies can be different. But in order to modify the behavior of person, we need to direct people. Now let us see what are the elements of the process of directing. The first element of directing is communication. We say that in organization, all we are interdependent. Nobody can work in isolation. So communication plays very important role in the process of directing. As an education manager, please keep in mind that whenever we are communicating with people in the organization, we need to motivate them, we need to provide them some alternatives, and it should not be happening that we are giving them orders. If we are giving them orders, then the work will be done by people in a very mechanical way, and we in the field of education are surrounded by human beings. So let us not do our work in a mechanical way. The second element which plays very important role in direction is leadership and supervision. Leader always try to give vision to people, but here we need to share vision. When the vision is shared by people, then that we feeling of sharing make lot of difference and people are motivated to do the work. The supervision is important because many tasks are to be performed or many activities are to be completed. Sometimes it may happen that certain things are not completed, but if one activity is not completed, then it may hamper our next activity or your planning gets changed absolutely. And therefore when we are talking about the leadership and supervision, again it go hand in hand, and education manager has to take how many activities he or she is supervising, what are the ways of supervision, and what kind of feedback is being provided to people. The next element, which is a motivation. As a manager, always try to motivate people because motivation is extremely important when we are working in the organization. Some people, they have intrinsic motivation, so in that case education manager may not have to put in extra efforts. But if people are intrinsically motivation, then please give them rewards or recognize their effort, appreciate their effort, because your appreciation will help them to take up new tasks and new challenges. Now let us discuss the need and importance of the process of direction. In the process of direction, the leader initiates the communication, because in organization when the guidance is given or when the instructions are given, that time it is the leader who takes the lead and motivate people to perform the work. The process of directing, it is very contextual. It performs between the relationship of subordinates and superior. We have discussed in the process of delegation that we have horizontal setup and we also have the vertical setup. So when we are directing certain things, then we have to take care of communication. For example, if a teacher has to give some suggestion to principal, her language will be different and she will say that this is my suggestions. But if it is the principal, then the principal will say, no, I want to do this thing in this way. So when we are talking about the need and importance of the direction, we have to take care that what are our communication ways and what are the relationship we are working into. So maybe it is a horizontal or maybe it is vertical. Our controlling and directing are the processes which motivates people. So as I mentioned that we are motivating people by appreciating their efforts, by recognizing their efforts, and maybe whatever good work they are doing, so we are giving excellent remarks on them. The appreciation does not necessarily every time be in kind. The appreciation can be very emotional, and therefore don't think people always need everything in kind or money. Direction also increases morale of people. People are enthusiastic. People want to work, but if we keep on telling them that you are doing mistake, or every time as an education manager we are just indicating their faults, then people are likely to get motivated. On the other hand, when we are directing them, their morale get boosted. Now this morale is very necessary to perform the next task or to complete the task with enthusiasm. So that enthusiasm within human needs to be continued. Direction also gives confidence to people, because that we feeling or the education manager conveys message that yes, I am with you, I am there to help you. If anything goes wrong, I am there to rectify that, so don't worry. And this dialogue or these messages which are conveyed help to boost confidence of people. This also helps to develop good bonds between the manager and people who are working in the organization. What happens in direction, that we are giving very constructive feedback to people, and therefore people, they don't get the message that their only mistakes are taken out. They feel proud, they get motivation, and therefore there is a bond which is established between the manager and people. While going through all these things, it develops a team, because education manager is focused on achieving the goal, not looking at the past and not talking about a long future. So to rectify the present and to work towards the present goal, they have to work in a team. They have to build a team rather. And once the team gets built, it saves lot of time, energy and money of the organization. And therefore, direction is a process which is very important for the education manager. So the conclusion of today's topic is that you don't have to take out the mistakes of people or don't stop people from doing work, rather guide them, help them so that the work can be completed. When we are in the process of controlling and directing, we supervise the performance, we analyze the behavior, we try to modify the behavior, we develop corrective plans, we measure performance, and we also compare their performance with the set standards. So when we are in the process of controlling, the controlling does not come in isolation. The controlling is always associated with the function of direction. So as a manager, enjoy the function of controlling and directing. Thank you.